everyone, I'm Brian Parks from Shutterpilot, and in today's video I want to talk about my top 5 capture features. And today we'll be talking specifically about Capture 3.1. Capture 3.1 was released in the middle of January of 2020. Since Capture 3.1 is the current version of Capture, I'm going to talk about my top 5 features in Capture 3.1. My first feature is the colors. So the colors in Capture are really awesome because you don't have to put a lot of effort into styling the software just to go out to an event. Maybe you don't have a lot of time. Maybe it is kind of a last minute, just want to throw together something so that the photo booth still looks good, but you don't have the time or the resources, the assets to fully brand the look and feel of the photo booth. You can just pull a couple main colors from the color palette of either the brand or the a wedding, the bride and groom's colors from the event, apply that to the photo booth, and it'll look really good, like it was designed specifically for that event. Because it was, the software wasn't, but you designed the event on the photo booth for that particular activation or event. Number 2 is digital props. Now, digital props are something that doesn't necessarily apply for every single event, but for the events where it does work, it's a really fun way to engage people with their photo and allow them to customize their photo right on the spot, and you don't have to carry around a big trunk full of physical props for them to hold in front of their face before they take the photo. So they can take their photo and then decide, do I want a mustache? Do I want fancy glasses? Do I want, my favorite pop artist standing behind me? Those sorts of things. Number 3 is the lighting adjustment. In Capture, we have 3 levels of lighting adjustment. There's a rough, coarse lighting adjustment, which makes it really easy to get a pretty good picture. And then there are 2 additional levels of finer adjustment. So you can really dial in exactly the picture that you want. This makes it really easy to get a good picture if you're outside, or if you're inside, you can get just as good a picture just by changing the lighting settings. We also have a setting for the live preview, so you can see yourself and so you can see exactly what the photo is going to look like when you take it before the flash goes off, and obviously the lighting is different. The second set of settings is specific to when the flash does go off and we're actually capturing the final picture that you're going to get. Obviously lighting's different because the flash is going to go off. You can set those settings and then click the test button. When you click the test button, the camera takes a picture. If the flash is configured, the flash goes off, and you can see exactly what the photo is going to look like when you take your picture. So those 2 settings have their own independent lighting adjustment, so you can get exactly the right live preview and a fantastic final photograph. Number 4 is what we call magic naming. Now, magic naming is a little bit nuanced, so I'll slow down for this one. But you can use magic naming for overlays, layouts, and in a slightly different way for backgrounds. So for overlays and layouts, we have a specific way that you can add the date to the name of the overlay and the layout, respectively, so that when the photo booth starts up, if it finds a file corresponding to the current date, it will use that as the overlay or the layout instead of its default behavior, which is just to pick the first one that it finds. Now for backgrounds, it's slightly different. We have magic naming for backgrounds for animated GIFs. So you can specify to use one background for the first photo, a second background for the second photo, a third background for the third photo, and if you're using 4 photos, a final background for the 4th photo. So the naming is slightly differently because we're not based on dates. but it is based on the number of the shot. So the first background has a 1 at the end, the second background has a 2 at the end, the third background has a 3 at the end, and so on. Number 5, Capture is really designed for self-serve. That means you don't have to have an attendant standing by the photo booth helping people use the photo booth, tapping the screen for people to take their pictures. If you want fast-moving lines and that sort of thing, if there are a lot of people using the photo booth, there are still reasons to have an attendant, but for the most part, Capture can run completely unmanned without an attendant. It's completely self-serve, and that means that people can really be themselves. They're not posing in front of a stranger. It's just them, their friends, and the photo booth. They can really let their personality show, and you get a lot more excited, enthusiastic photos when people don't have an attendant standing right there helping them use the photo booth. So that's pretty cool, and that's something that I think Capture is fantastic at actually doing.